Welcome to Paddlecast with Betsy
and Billy. On Paddlecast, we talk to and about paddlers who are pushing the limits, paddlers who are pushing their own limits, and pushing the limits of paddle sports.
We are going to test out a little bit of a new format. What we want to do is find the right balance between longer form interviews and analysis versus news updates.
So we're sorry for getting behind on the news updates. We both feel strongly that we'd like to have these all included, but we'd appreciate some feedback if anyone has any. We are going to add Wednesdays in for shorter news episodes, previews, recaps, and brief analysis like standout performances.
So today we are going to share some surfski news, some recaps of a few recent surfski races, and we're going to share some interviews that we did live at a recent ocean racing selection event in the UK. It was mostly surf skis racing there, but there was also outrigger canoes and a few top stand-up paddleboard racers from around the UK. So even if you are not necessarily here for the surf ski news, keep listening. We had a pretty fun time recording those interviews live. So hopefully you'll enjoy them as well. And then our next episode on Wednesday, you'll get to hear the rest of the news that we need to catch up on for marathon kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, and sprint canoe.
We previewed the South African Surfski Championships and Freedom Paddle, which was also the double championships. So we're going to start there. So we had the single championships on the 25th of April in Cape Town. This is on the ocean and it's a 20-kilometer race. We were desperately hoping that this was going to end in a Miller's Run, big downwind. However, conditions did not play into the hands of the organizers. And we had light winds and fog, which actually caused a big change of course and actually arguably affected the results of the racing or certainly made it more difficult for the competitors. Really, I said that it was going to be a race for the locals, and fog and knowing exactly where to steer really doubled down on that. It was definitely a locals race. The basic sort of playback of the race: big start, fast start as always. It's never going to be a chilled out start, but the paddle out was fairly chilled, with the exception of when Hank McGregor took a turn on the front by the harbour wall, put a bit of a squeeze on everyone up the inside and like towards the middle, got a bit pushed back, which could have affected some of people's race plans. Almost like in the flat water, like the marathon master putting in some marathon tactics in a surf ski race. But the race sort of carried on. They got to the turn. There were small bumps. Everyone had to work very hard to get them. The senior men were doing sub fours on the downwind, but from what people have told me, it was sort of you just had to sort of conserve your energy but also trying to keep your speed high. It really wasn't a full send. The course then turned diagonally. It was really hard, really technical, fast-moving bumps. It was really favouring the paddlers who had the power to get them. Kira Bester made the best use out of the conditions in the ladies' race, pulling out a big lead. And Nicky Notten won the men's race with a slender lead over Kenny Rice.
Who do you think were the standout performances from the race?
Well, other than the winners, there was a real standout performance from Jared Shrimpton. He is under 18, but had a stonking race to finish 6th.
That's really impressive.
Pretty good going, really, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know exactly where he was, but he might have benefited quite a bit from the situation on the harbour wall. But I mean, that's still really early in the race. He still had to have a really amazing race to keep that gain.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, those are truly some of the world's best that he's competing with. So good results from someone who's still very young in the sport.
One to watch for the future.
Definitely. I can report back on the Freedom Paddle, which was also in South Africa. We also previewed that the other day. And it was just 2 days after the South African Surfski Championships for solo, and the Freedom Paddle doubled as the national championships for tandem. So it was in Cape Town around Robben Island, hence why it's called the Freedom Paddle. Also on the ocean, 27 kilometers, so a little bit longer than the solo race. And the winners there for men's, it was Kenny Rice and Nicky Notten. Not a surprise, certainly a good weekend for them. The winners in the women's category were Kira Bester and Melanie van Niekerk. Another good weekend for the two of them, and yet another win for Kira Bester, who is on a roll. And the real standout performance here was from Georgia Singe and Uli Hart, who teamed up in the mixed doubles category to take fourth place overall. So not only did they win the mixed doubles category together, they finished just 3.5 minutes behind the leaders and only missed out on that third overall spot by 7 seconds behind a veteran men's boat. And they finished ahead of some phenomenally impressive names, Hank McGregor and Josh Fenn. So very impressive results from Uli Hart and Georgia Singe. Is it Eurochallenge next?
So this is the race I should have gone to, but I was struggling to juggle dog care and childcare. Eurochallenge was also the first ICF Ocean Racing World Cup. It's the first year that they've been had that status as well, so that's cool. It was on the 30th of April. It was in Villajoyosa, which is in southeast Spain. This year they did an 18-kilometer course. The course here changes annually. They really try and get the best course to suit the conditions, and they have a nice window for the race, and they'll do it on the best conditions possible. And this year they had brilliant conditions. It was absolutely howling the day before. Some people went out and had a blast, but it definitely wasn't for everyone. The day of the race was perfect downwind conditions. The racing, the top six in the men's race was absolutely tight as anything. Gordon Harbour won, which isn't necessarily surprising, but it was closer than it was the week before at Breeze. Kira Bester again won, fresh from winning the South African Nationals and the Freedom Paddle in doubles with Melanie van Niekerk. She travelled up from South Africa to do this race. Uli Hart was hot on the tail of Gordon Harbour. He was 40 seconds behind. Kenny Rice just a couple of seconds behind Uli. So real tight racing, really tight all the way down to sixth. They were all top-level paddlers. Who did you have as standouts, Betsy?
I thought, well, obviously Kira Bester, 3 in a row. Wow, phenomenal season. And coming off of her win at Worlds last year, she is absolutely the top women's surfski paddler to be watching right now. And on the men's side, I thought that Pierre Villea, who is a French paddler, had a pretty good race. He finished right next to Kenny Rice, I think just a couple of seconds, which was an improvement for him after he finished 2 minutes behind Kenny Rice at the Surfski Worlds in Madeira last year. So he's probably feeling pretty happy right now. And the really big standout for me was Bernardo Leisa Pereira from Portugal. He is an under 23 paddler who actually finished second overall between Gordon Harbrecht and Uli Hart. So a really big deal for him as a young under 23 paddler. Also just a big deal to have someone alongside Gordon Harbrecht, who's a European in those top few podium spots. So I think that's probably, I might take that as a good sign for the growing European surf ski scene coming off of Flash Gordon's win at Worlds last year. But Bernardo Pereira will definitely be one to watch as well.
I think the European scene's improving rapidly.
It certainly seems that way. And for Eurochallenge to get that status as an official ICF World Cup, maybe even having those Worlds in Madeira last year helped too.
The Worlds are in Villajoyosa next year.
That's, pretty big developments.
A few years' time, Europeans are going to be, just as up there. Maybe not with slightly the strength and depth of South Africa and Australia, but
Yeah, it is just really hard to beat the depth of the South African racing scene. Well, speaking of the budding European scene, let's move a little bit closer to home and get into the Exe Bay race, which was a selection race in the UK for the World Championships in Durban. So this was last weekend on the 3rd of May down in Exmouth, which is in the southwest in the UK. And Billy was there racing since it was a selection race. And I drove down so we could do a live paddlecast recording together, which was great fun.
it was. It was a good one. It was nice to do one in person rather than on the computers. And it helped that it was a sunny day. There was canoeing. This race has been running for a few years, but this is the first time it's been ran under a Paddle UK banner. That's the national governing body for paddle sports in the UK. This is also the first year that we've included stand-up paddleboarding and outrigger canoes at Exe Bay. A lot of work has been done into affiliating these ocean races with Paddle UK, and then making them multidisciplinary with craft, including the outriggers and subs, is a good move in my opinion.
I was really excited to see that. And this race is a pretty good race for beginners or people who maybe haven't spent time in huge ocean conditions. And we did see relatively flat conditions there last weekend on the sea. The course is 18 kilometers. It was 3 loops. And it's a relatively sheltered part of the coastline, but there was a little bit of breeze, a little bit of chop, and a few runners in pretty much just the last 500 meters of the course, which at that point, I think everyone was happy to get whatever they could.
Yeah, you really had to work, or I had to work really hard. It felt like the absolute last bit of my energy, but I was coming in close with a double, really wanting to beat this double in. And I really needed the runners to do it, so that was nice. But you say it's a relatively sheltered part of Devon. I've done a downwind into Exmouth in quite a big southwesterly, and that was tonking. I wasn't very happy at all.
Oh, fair enough. That's typical though. It
Yeah,
can be so changeable. I guess it's just this race in particular, the
yeah,
last few years has been fairly flat.
yeah. It has. Yeah. This year was, I think, the flattest that I've seen it, but it does mean it's perfect introduction to people to ocean ski. And to be honest, the people that would have won the race anyway won the race.
It didn't seem like the conditions had a huge impact on the results in this case.
No, so the race was won by Ryan Lark. Everyone knows him as Scooby. He was going to win the race, whether or not it was flat or big. He's brilliant. He is the coach at Royal Canoe Club and does brilliant work with the junior section of the club. He's represented Great Britain quite a few times now in ocean ski and in surf lifesaving. Ellie McCloy from Wales. She's from Cardiff Bay. She won the senior women. Andrew Birkett and Ellie O'Connell took the doubles. And Freddie Heard took the under 18 race. He had an absolute storming performance. But Betsy is going to tell you the real winner of the day, the winner of the Masters Men category.
It was Billy Butler.
Oh, was it? What a guy. So I was really looking forward to having a good old ding dong with Andrew Birkett, but he, just coming off the back of Devices to Westminster, decided to hide in a double with Ellie.
His stated reason, which you'll hear in the interview, is that they only had, so many reef racks and so much space for boats they could bring down. But it did look like they had a fun time out there.
They did. I think he was running scared. We'll never know. We'll see at the next race. Who won the subs?
In stand-up paddleboarding, it was Joey Jones from Wales who won overall in the men's category. And only about 30 seconds behind Joey, it was Emily Evans, also from Wales. And in third place, it was Annabelle Page, or Annie. So She is only 20 years old and started the race up front with Joey and Emily and stuck with them throughout the first lap. And then she got dropped sometime on the second lap to finish about 4 minutes behind the two leaders. I think she's got some international racing plans coming up soon.
I mean, I feel her pain getting dropped on the second lap. I really started to struggle then, which, yeah, I think it was, I went out all guns blazing, and then second lap came and I realized that I couldn't actually back it up.
So after the race was over on Saturday, we did 4 interviews, live paddlecast recording. The first one was with Elly McCloy, the winner of the women's race.
Elly is a world champion podium athlete in surf lifesaving. For anyone not familiar with surf lifesaving, it combines lifeguarding skills with competitive sport.
It's a really interesting sport and a huge feeder for surf ski. Surf lifesaving originated in Australia, I think a few decades ago at this point. So it's new-ish in the realm of competitive sport, but it's a really cool sport, and it is very multidisciplinary, very challenging. You have to do swimming in the surf and the ocean, surf lifesaving. Of course, it's in the name. You also learn how to do essentially like prone board style paddling to go out, again, as part of the sort of rescue or lifeguarding mission. And surf ski is a component of it as well. There's a lot more to it than that, but we'll definitely be thinking about it from that surf ski angle.
I would have loved to have done this as a kid. It's a brilliant sport and a really all-round fitness base. And the surf ski paddlers that we get, actually all the paddlers that come from SLS always seem to be good. If you look at a lot of the Australian sprint squad, they come from SLS. You look at those all of the guys we've been talking about in South Africa, most of them have got SLS backgrounds.
And they seem to have a really well-established structure for bringing in youngsters as well, who they call nippers, which I feel like is pretty adorable. Yeah, as you say, I would have loved this as a kid. It is truly both those competitive skills that translate to some of the top surf ski paddlers in the world that we're talking about, and also translates to actually being good at rescuing people. I was reading a story recently about a rescue that a young lifesaver managed to achieve when a experienced paddleboarder actually in the UK was, I think, surfing and his board hit his head. And so he was injured out there in the surf, and it was pretty serious. A young surf lifesaver went out and managed to get him out and save him. So it's very cool. Really, really impressive sport. It is really great at getting those youngsters in. So Elly is one of the leaders at Cardiff Bay Kayak Club, which is a growing club in kayak that, of course, has this surf lifesaving as a central part of it. And she did tell us a little bit about her approach to getting new people, particularly young girls, into paddling and surf lifesaving. So I really enjoyed talking with her about that. I know that was something that both of us wanted to ask her about.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Cardiff Bay Kayak Club. They're doing great things. Our second interview was with Andrew Birkett and Elly O'Connell. As we said, Andy's just raced DW. He is also a very accomplished surf ski paddler. Elly is one of the 2 Ellys racing today. She mostly races marathon kayak, but also dabbles in surf ski. She has done some adventure racing as well, including coast to coast in New Zealand. That is 143 kilometers of running, cycling, and kayaking. She's done it twice, I believe.
Every time I see her out there doing that, I feel simultaneously like in awe and also very jealous, because it looks like a phenomenal race.
Next up was my favorite interview of the day with Freddie Heard. Freddie is under 16 still. He is a hugely promising young paddler. He keeps beating me in races. I did have the pleasure of beating him in training about a year ago, although at the time he was still 14. But I will treasure the memory of that day as Freddie's results get better and better. The time I did once beat him.
I have seen Freddie race a few times over the past winter season with his K2 partner, Ollie Mazur, and they raced at some of the Waterside and Thameside races, which are very long and like longer than the standard marathon distance, even though it sounded from Freddie like their main focus is the 500-meter sprint in K2, which is one of the things that we asked him about. But I felt like they were a little bit overshadowed by the other junior boys boat of Alex Worgan and Will Short, who I know we've spoken about previously and will speak about again because they are, I think, Billy, you predicted that they should medal at the Marathon World Championships, unless we have jinxed them, which hopefully we haven't. But Freddie and Ollie were really right behind them at a lot of these long distance races over the winter. And they were up there with several really top tier men's crews they were racing against. So they're really only being overshadowed because they're a couple of years younger than the other boys, but I think they'll be right there in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think they will. And they've got a really healthy outlook on the sport, really. I mean, you can see that they're doing 500, they're doing marathon racing, they're going off and doing long distance racing, in these waterside races. And then they're going off and doing ocean ski. It's brilliant.
Agreed. It's so important, especially as a younger paddler, to have that more healthy attitude toward the sport. And that was, I think, what we heard from Freddie when we spoke with him. The fourth interview was with our two stand-up paddleboard winners, Joey Jones and Emily Evans. They're both from Wales, and they both represented Wales at the ISA SUP World Championships in Copenhagen, Denmark last year, which they talked to us a little bit about that during the interview, which was great to hear. They had a great time there. Emily made it to the quarterfinals in the sprints and the semifinals in the technical racing. So she's definitely a high-level SUP racer. So it was great to see her, especially to see, I think, higher-level stand-up paddleboard racers like Emily turning up at a race that is, multidisciplinary that we talked about in the first time that they had SUPs. So to see her kind of out there and giving it a good chance and putting out a good performance was great to see. So it's a good conversation with Emily and Joey as well.
Yeah, we must say that the audio quality isn't the best on these live recordings, but hopefully you enjoy them.
We are thrilled today to be at the Exe Bay Ocean Race, sponsored by Ocean Surfski. So it was 18 kilometers out on the ocean over here, and we had some pretty top talent, including Elly McCloy. Welcome, Elly. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Elly, for people who aren't familiar with you, what is your background?
So I come from a surf lifesaving background. I've done nipper since I was 7 in South Wales. And I've kind of taken it a bit more seriously as I got older, managed to get on some Welsh teams, GB teams, so surf lifesaving. And I've also recently kind of gotten involved with kayaking and ocean ski paddling as well, mostly to help with my surf lifesaving, but I'm kind of also enjoying it as its own thing now as well. Yeah.
So, Elly, you're being quite modest there. How did you get on in Australia last year in the board relay?
I came home with a bronze medal, which is really cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
So I would like to ask you a bit about your Cardiff Bay stuff as well, because I think that's amazing with what you're doing with the juniors. But tell us about your race today.
It was surprisingly quite good. I think it's the first time I've done this race a few times now, and it's the first time I've won out of the girls. That was really cool. Had a really good start, actually, ahead of Billy.
I know you had a good start. Yeah.
Billy was watching me paddle off. No, I had a good start. And then I was really lucky to end up in like a group of 3 of us, and we kept like kind of swapping around and pushing each other the whole way, which is really nice. Because when you get drops, your race just goes to pieces, doesn't it? So I was being pushed the whole way. Managed to get a few little runners. I don't know if you can call them runners, but yeah, it just went well. And I didn't actually pop like I normally do. So yeah, success really. Although I'm so ruined now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It was hard work, wasn't it? Yeah.
So it's just nice conditions out there. Like for me, I know we all love a downwind, but that does mean you have to go into a headwind as well, which is my absolute worst nightmare. So it actually worked better for me. It was quite calm. Yeah.
How much of your training, Ellie, because you're doing sort of multiple sports as part of surf lifesaving, how much time do you normally spend in the kayak, in the K1, or in the surf ski during the week?
Yeah, it's quite a tricky one with lifesaving because I've obviously got to do a bit of swimming, running, board paddling, and then ski paddling as well. So I usually do about 3 ski sessions a week, or 1 in a surf ski and then 2 on the kayak with kind of big kayakers. So yeah, I try to do as much as possible, but I also enjoy doing a bit of board paddling as well. So got to get that balance. Am I right?
Do you have any upcoming races planned for this year after this one? Are you heading for Durban, do you think?
I would love to, yeah. I'm going to go to Roos Race next week. And I think the 3rd Ocean Ski R race is probably the Celtic Cup in Exe Bay. So I've got all that coming up. But like I said, my main aim is lifesaving. So I've got the GB trials at the start of June. And then the hope with that is to be selected to race in Poland, actually, at the European Lifesaving Champs. Yeah. And that's in the end of August. So yeah, it'll be a busy end to the year, hopefully. Yeah.
Sounds really cool. Well, good luck with that. I would like to ask you about Cardiff Bay because it might just be your amazing social media account, but I look at Cardiff Bay and it's just a brilliant club. You're bringing on loads of juniors. You're going to loads of races, like loads of the races I go to. You've got loads of juniors going. You had a ladies crew, got on the podium at DW this year, second ladies crew, did a really good race. So tell us what's going on at Cardiff Bay.
Yeah, I'm just really proud of how the club has grown over the past few years. We've started a new programme taking on surfski paddlers who've come from a lifesaving background. So every October we take on about 15 surfski paddlers, teach them technique through the winter, and then gradually get them into kayaks. So we're bringing new paddlers into kayaking, which is great, and also building our surf lifesaving paddlers as well by kind of helping them with technique and things like that. So we've had a steady flow of new paddlers into the club. Our membership has increased by loads, and I think everyone's having a good time.
Yeah, it looks like you're having a really great time. Yeah,
trying to get it all on the socials. If I can shout out at Cardiff Bay Kayakers, give us a follow and kind of tune in to see what we're getting up to. Yeah,
we'll put a link in.
Yeah. And we're always in bright orange boats, so you'll spot us at Hasslers, sprint regattas, all of that. So if you see us, come and say hi.
Yeah, always orange boats, always buy Kobe tops. You buy British boats. Mm-hmm. You're using Ocean Surfski. All your equipment comes through Ocean Surfski. It's really good for the community. Yeah, and it's lovely to see so many people out because not every club's doing that.
Yeah, it's really great. We've got like a lot of young girls, especially as well, coming in kind of age 14, 15. So to be able to kind of follow them through and keep them interested when it's quite a difficult age, but especially girls, it's quite a big dropout. So we're hoping we can make it fun for them. Yeah. And if they don't like racing, there's always options to kind of start coaching our new paddlers coming in. So yeah, it's just been really rewarding for me to help kind of grow the club. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Elly. Congratulations on your win today. It was great watching you out there. It was with Dougal and Graham that you were saw you guys out there. Nice. And looking forward to see where you head from here in the surf ski and the kayak as well as in the surf lifesaving.
Thanks for having me. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, nice one.
Have a nice rest of your afternoon.
Cheers. Well done, Elly.
Welcome, Elly and Andy. You all won the Surfski doubles class today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you were chasing down Scoob, who won the overall race. You were pretty close. Tell us about your race.
Oh, yeah, go on, Andy.
Yeah, I think we had a very good race. I think we exceeded our own expectations. I don't know. I didn't really know what to hope for. I've been feeling very tired since DW, and luckily we could only fit 3 boats in the roof rack, so it was an easy decision to paddle on the double today. Luckily, Elly was obliging. So we had an really awesome race. Hopped in and felt very good from the start. So super happy with how things went.
Elly, how was it?
Yeah, it was great fun. Always good fun paddling behind Andy. Get a nice ride in the back. So yeah, I was quite happy to jump in the double. And fortunately, we've had a few. We've raced Fishguard before together and had a few couple of 10K races in Richmond. So yeah, it felt good today.
Nice.
Nice. So it was pretty flat out there. I managed to catch a few little runners, but was there anything for the double, or was it just too small for the double?
I think that it was pretty tough going. Like there wasn't. You just kind of had to, when a wave came, just paddle as hard as you could. There wasn't really stuff you could target and go for as such.
Yeah.
So you just kind of take it as it comes. But I must say that the best runners were actually coming into the beach area right at the very end.
Yeah.
That was the best bit of the whole lot. There wasn't too much to work with today. It was pretty tough going.
Yeah, it was definitely hard work out there with very little waves. I think we only managed to put our paddles down once and sit on a wave, and that was right towards the end.
Yeah.
So it's hard work. So it was good. Yeah.
Are either of you aiming for Durban with the selections? No?
That's a no from me.
I'm thinking about it because I'm actually going to be there in South Africa at the time. I've got my cousin's wedding a few weeks before, and I'm thinking of doing the fish as well. And then the Surfski Worlds is just after the fish. But it's tricky for us because the sea conditions there are so different to what we got here. I mean, you look at that. Paddling in South Africa is big ground swell. In the UK here, we really just get mostly wind chop. So paddling in those conditions, it takes a lot to get used to that sort of water. You do well at these sorts of races and you think you're paddling nicely, but then you go over to South Africa and you get your pipes cleaned by some actual really good surfski paddlers. It's a fantastic route. So I'm not ruling it out, but it's a maybe.
So you said you might do the fish, Andy. You must be tapping up some pretty, amazing paddlers who might be joining you in a boat. Who have you asked?
Really funny you should ask that.
Am I still in contention, or have you kicked me out of the boat?
You need to make up your mind.
Yeah, I do.
You need to make up your mind. Because I'm casting my net wide. It's a K2 so that'll be good fun.
Okay.
Or I know Brindy's going to be there. We could rope her into a K3.
K3, yeah.
K3 might be good. It's actually pretty much the only race where there's an actual K3 class, and I've done K3 a few times. It's really awesome fun. Perhaps K3 if I can find 2 willing guinea pigs to take to me. That's what's quite nice. They've obviously aligned themselves because the fish is, I think, perhaps a week or 2 ahead of Surfski Worlds. So it's an awesome opportunity for people like us or foreigners to come and do both.
Elly, do you have any upcoming races planned in marathon or surfski?
Nothing really planned or booked at the moment, but just kind of there's races happening most weekends really with we'll probably try to do most of the surfski races like the Sussex and Fishguard and whatever else comes up. But marathon racing usually just see what's happening on the weekend and enter a few Hasna races probably.
think we're both hopefully a few people from Richmond Canoe Club are hoping to go to the cellar this year, so that would be a really good one. If we can get that organised.
There's a few of us talking about cellar. I've never been, and everyone I speak to is like, oh gosh, it's an amazing opportunity. You have to go. So there's a lot of races which I've committed to already. But this could be another one where it seems like it's going to be a fun year to go over to the cellar.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us, and congratulations on your race today. Really well done.
Very much, Betsy. Thanks, Betsy.
Nice one, guys. Well done.
Well done, Freddie.
Thank you so much, Freddie, for joining Paddlecast. You won the junior or the under 18 category today in the single surf ski. You were chased right behind by your K2 partner, Ollie Mazer. So, Freddie, tell us about your race.
Well, I had a pretty good start, and then I was with the top group until like the first turn, and I just dropped off, and from there on I just went around with Uli Hart most of the way until the end, where a sprint finish, and I just got him at the finish. And it's fairly flat out there and quite sunny.
Yeah, I was just behind you, and I saw you drop off the lead group.
Yeah.
I was unbelievably happy when it happened, and I was thinking, come on, I'll be able to reel him in, and it never happened. So well done, you stayed away. That was brilliant. Is this your first surf ski race you've done?
No, I'd done Epic Bay or Exe Bay, not last year, but the year before.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Came third in under 18 that time.
Okay, but this is your first time really worrying those at the front of a race.
Yeah.
So
it's a good experience, good fun.
So we've raced now a few times together.
Yeah.
Who's coming out on top at the moment, Fred?
I think I'm just about on top.
So you beat me at Tewkesbury Hasler last year.
Yeah.
You beat me at Waterside B. That was pretty close. And today it wasn't so close. So I think you're getting further away now, aren't you?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens on the next race where we battle each other.
Yeah. So you are under 16 still.
Yeah.
Next year is your first year under 18.
Indeed.
What have you got planned for this year?
My main focus is K2 500 for Euros and Worlds.
Yeah.
Uli Hart. Yeah. And then I might try the K4 if there's a K4 put together.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I think that's probably it. My main goal.
Well, it looks like you're going to have a very successful junior career.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. It's really fun to see your progress, and I think it's really exciting to have a paddler of your ability at your age.
How do you find, because you're doing the K2 500, right? That'll be your main focus. But you're also still able to go out and there do, really long distances like the waterside races. Today was 18K in a surf ski. How do you find that doing the longer distances or doing the surf ski affects your K1 paddling? Do you enjoy it?
I think it's just a slightly different discipline, and you just enjoy it, and like it's almost a switch off from the sprinting, and like the distance just helps like your base speed and help you build up a good fitness level. So I think it's the main reasons. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Freddie, for coming to chat with us on Paddlecast today. And yeah, I think Billy and I are both excited to follow your career because it's looking very promising.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good luck, Fred.
Thank you.
Congratulations to both of you, winners of the SUP race today. Thanks for joining us on Paddlecast. Emily, tell me about how your race was today.
It was really good. I'm actually really pleased because I felt really strong. It's like quite, it's been like a long winter training, and it's just really nice to like come to a race and the sun's out and feel strong and be at a race where there's like really like good competition as well. It's nice to have like the girls here and like just paddle together. Yeah, good.
What about you, Joe? How was your race?
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
really enjoyed that. It was like really hot out there as well. So first lap I did take a dip and it cooled off a little bit after that. But yeah, it was good. And it's good. Well, racing with Emily is always a pleasure because like teammates back in September. And it's also very scary having Emily right behind me the entire time. Yeah. But no, awesome. Yeah, it just feels good to be racing again now. I think I'm excited for this one and looking forward to the next one now.
You all, Emily, you were just telling me that you both represented Wales in Denmark last year. Yeah. How was that experience?
Oh, it was super fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was really nice because there have been like representatives from like Wales like going to international events in the past, but in 2022, like I went on my own to the European Championships, and then last year Joe and I went together as the Welsh team. So it was just like it was really nice to be like waving the Welsh flag and having support from like your parents were there, weren't they? And you raced in all three events, and I did the
sprint and distance.
Oh, yeah.
So I did the sprint and distance, and then Emily did the technical and sprint. And having your experience out there from your like previous racing is different. There's another level to like the actual experience for me because it gave me a bit of confidence when I was racing, but also it just made the environment just really positive for me. And I think it was probably we were quite close to the Scotland team while we were out there as well. They're probably the same situation where a few people in Newsall international racing team, and it's
a big thing, isn't it? Like when you go to the international events, if you haven't been before, you know there's such a fantastic atmosphere. There's people from like all around the world, like maybe people that you've only ever seen like online, you know, they're kind of your heroes and things, and you're paddling with them. But also, you know, you can be proud because you've put the time in to train, to go to the qualification events, and we actually fundraised, didn't we, to go there, and you found us a great sponsor as well with like Swansea Building Society. So we had like, you know, because it's from our side anyway, it's all self-funded. So we've got support from Canoe Wales and from Welsh Surfing Federation, but we kind of like sort our own funds. So so because it's a massive thing, you sometimes I guess your head can go, can't it? So like just being a team and like talking about tactics and that kind of thing is really fun. And we'd love like more people on the Welsh team, wouldn't we?
It's a thing reached the end of the day as well. I was like, how'd the race go? What do you think? And then it was that next step. Okay, what's tomorrow got to sore for us?
So today's race, I think, was the first time SUP has been included in the ocean racing scene in the UK. Are you going to do any more of the races this year?
Okay, so I've already signed up to the Fishguard race. That was last year. That was our qualification race.
Right. Okay.
For ISA, and that was the second year I've done it. And to be honest, last year I picked the wrong board for it, so I'm going in with a bit like got something to fight crews in it. So I just love the race as well. Like for a SUP race, there's challenge with it, and just the enjoyment of actually getting to the finish line.
Yeah,
second to none. So definitely doing the Fishguard race. I've seen a couple more of these races at the SUP, so I'll have a look, definitely look over those as well.
I think I did Fishguard last year, unless I'm getting them confused. It was quite big, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, the distance was meant to be on a Saturday for us.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, subs, not today. And on the actual day, I remember being disappointed, like, this would have been quite fun to look at a great downwind. Then the second day where it was a bit more chill.
Yeah.
And I struggled. I was like, actually, needs to wind in a little bit. I sort of struggled yesterday.
Yeah. So you mentioned that your board choice. I was going to lead me to my next question. What was your board choices today?
So I went with Starboard All-Star 23 wides. So where I was saying the mistake I made before is I got another board which I use on flat water.
Right.
And that's 21 wides. Jenna. And great board, fast board on the flat water, but I was really
struggled with the secondary on it in that race. And like my dad said to me this morning when we came down, he was like, "Oh, maybe we should have picked that because it looked quite flat out there." But having the secondary of the All-Star it really helped me today.
Yeah. And paddle? Did you change your paddle much?
No, so I keep paddling, keep the paddle.
Yeah.
So I go with the Black Project Synergy I got last year.
Yeah.
And it's working for me pretty well.
Yeah.
I'll say, yeah.
Nice.
Emily, what?
So I've been paddling a Sonova all water. It's 23 inches wide, and actually I kind of upgraded to a slightly wider board the other year because I paddle on the sea quite a bit, but just I feel like having that little bit more stability when the conditions are a bit rolly or there's some little bumps and stuff. It is preferable over having a lower board with narrow volume, just because you can keep moving. It's just slightly more stable. So I've been loving using that board, and I take it in the surf and paddle it all the time, to be honest, on flat water. And very fortunate to be supported by Blackfish Paddles, and so that I've been using their paddles for probably 5 years or more now. So do you know what? They're just fantastic. Can't fault it. So they're always my go-to. I use the Viento, and I've got an Andaman as well. That I like for technical racing and stuff. So yeah. Yeah, that's my setup.
I feel like that stability angle tracks with the surf ski experience, right, Billy?
Yeah, last year was pretty flat here as well, and I went with a V12 last year, and then I also went with my marathon blades, and it was blow up central at the end. I was crawling in, and this year I was like, no, not messing around. I stuck with the V10, which was plenty stable enough out there. I could have been in the 12, but stuck with my surf ski blades, and the only best runners were in the last sort of 500 meters, and I needed it to get past the double at the end. I just caught a couple. If I'd have been on my big blades, I'd have been toast. I wouldn't have caught the little waves that there was. So yeah, I'm not going to make that mistake again.
This is quite a long race for a stand-up paddleboard, which is fantastic. It's a real challenge. But is this a long race for surf ski, or is it a short one?
Well, for surf ski, last week at Breeze I did a 40k downwind, which is a long one. This is probably fairly standard for an ocean surf ski race. But I come from a marathon background, so they're 2-hour races. So yeah, for me, it's sort of a fairly standard race. Most of our marathon kayak races are 12 miles in the UK, so it's almost the same, hour and a half sort of thing. So it's normal for me, but yeah, it is a long way on a sup, isn't it?
Yeah. And if it had been windier, I think we'd have been a bit more tired, but
We're a bit different racing.
Lucky that it wasn't too much windier. It was pretty manageable. 18K.
It's still challenging. We've got, it's really nice. There's now quite a lot of people coming over from the flatter water to paddling on the sea. So it's fantastic that these events are opening up to SUP, because, just gives more direction and routes for people to kind of come from that leisure background into racing and then into more challenging conditions. And with so much safety set up, it's just a perfect place for people to push their comfort zone and get out and paddle. So yeah, really grateful for SUPs being included, and it's super fun.
Yeah. Well, we are happy that you all were here, and it was great to see you out there doing so well. You didn't get lapped at any point, didn't need to worry about that, which I think, some might have been some...
Did we not lap you in Oh, we did. Okay.
Well, not the official end lap, sorry.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Didn't get timed out laps.
Yes, didn't get timed out laps. Yeah.
Didn't get sent home.
No. Yeah. But finished the full... Yeah.
At the end of the second lap, I was thinking to myself, I'll be nice now if that buzzer goes. I just and that'll do. I'll take care. Yeah.
No, but you all did great, and thank you all so much for joining us on Paddlecast today. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Nice one. Cheers. They've got ice cream. Where did they get their ice cream from?